Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome to School of Science. My name is Luke and this is the post-match reaction for Everton versus Chelsea. Everton 0, Chelsea 0. Now, this game today, when I was first going to the match, I said before all this could go anyway. Well, I had a prediction that it would go anyway because Everton, we've become a little bit more sound when it comes to our structure and everything and the way we defend and everything. Whereas Chelsea right now, they're basically scoring for fun. They're scoring 3s, 4s and 5s right now. They're doing absolutely brilliantly, flying high and all that. And they're really making it difficult for teams to defend against. They're just moving so well. The likes of Gusto, Neto, Palmer, Jackson. Those guys, they're absolutely free-flowing at the moment. So when we went into this game, I was expecting one of two outcomes. Either it was going to be a sneaky 1-0 win to us, or they were going to absolutely drub us. There was no sort of in-between. So, to my shock, this game actually was held really well. Everton, in the first half, we came out and we did all that we could to sort of stop them from advancing. We did what I thought we were going to do, which was literally a double-layered defence. So, Tarkowski, Branthwaite, they held the centre of the park with Mykolenko sort of trying to keep Neto at bay. At times he was sort of moving inside. Also, he had Harrison on his left. No, sorry, he never had Harrison on his left. That's a lie. He had Ndai on his left, and he was pretty much moving between left and inside, using himself as basically an ad hoc left wing into a number 8, into a number 10. Which, you know what, good on him. He was trying to be versatile, and he was doing really well. He got a lot of movement today, so I'm really happy with that. But yeah, the only problem with that was it was kind of leaving us in a situation where Mykolenko would come inside, Neto would stay wide. He would stay very wide, and usually the middle of the park would bring it way wide all the way over to Neto. Neto would get it onto a dime and cause a lot of problems. So what ends up happening there, we'd have a situation where Mykolenko, Branthwaite and Ndai were trying to go in and trying to stop him. Likewise with Mangala or even Idrissa Gueye at times. And sometimes we were giving away legitimate fouls. Sometimes Neto basically decided this wasn't football, it was Olympic diving, and he put in goal performances because the linesman seemed to have a severe lack of one of these and kept giving them the bloody fouls. Honestly, this game today, the villain of the game was quite literally the referees. This game was just, oh my God, Chris Cavana, Jesus Christ, mate. I don't know what the hell you're playing at, mate, but for crying out loud, how on earth did you give so many fouls that weren't fouls, and how did you give so many non-fouls that were fouls? Because there was a moment in a couple of situations, Beto, I'm going to go to the forwards and then I'm going to come right back. I'm going to talk about the referee and his horrid decision-making. There was times there, basically, Tarkowski got floored at one point, didn't give a foul on that one. Another situation, Corey basically did a pass through to Mangala, and then literally a quarter of a second later, a player came and just collected him. Didn't get the ball. Basically, Corey had already passed it away. The ball was basically gone. So he had no reason to be flying in. And then he flew in to Corey's legs. In my opinion, that should have been a free kick because it was on the right of the edge of the box. The foul ends up going into the penalty area, so it could have been a penalty. But in all honesty, it should have been a free kick at the very least. But on top of that, I mean, the yellow cards he was given. Basically, one moment, Pickford was given the linesman stick because pretty much some situations there where the linesman should have said, right, that's a offside or that's a free kick, because either obviously offside or blatant foul. He wasn't giving them, and it was only when the threat was cleared altogether that they were deciding to give it. When we had the ball and we were moving on with it, they then rolled it back for the free kick, or they rolled it back for the offside. So Pickford, rightfully so, gave him an absolute load of flack for that and got a booking for it. But yeah, in regards to the first half, we had a couple of moments there. As you could probably have told, if any of you guys were not in the ground, you were at home, you know, had your feet up, had a nice little cup of tea, some biscuits and all that, enjoying the game, you would have noticed as well of some of the free kicks. There was a moment there where Harrison had the free kick. They were about 5-10 yards outside of the box, and he was trying to cross it in, but the wind had picked up that much, it was actually moving the ball. And at one moment, just as Harrison went to kick it, the ball had moved, and he kicked it, and it got the foot of Idrissa Gueye, and Cavana rolled it back because the ball was in motion. Now, bear in mind that I understand that ruling, But I understand that ruling in the sense that the ball is in motion from like basically instead of it being like a ball stopped and then going, the ball was constantly in motion, like a situation where there was a foul and they haven't even stopped the ball. They've just let the ball carry on moving and then they've hit it. In that situation, that free kick should have carried on, but he rolled it back, made us take it again. Only thing is that would have taken up about a good 2-3 minutes of time that shouldn't have been taken up. And funnily enough, didn't get added on at the end of the first half either. So what the hell's going on there? But yeah, outside of that, just general terrible decisions by the referee today. I don't know what was going through his mind. It was bordering on the line of suspicious sort of, one of these. I mean, he wasn't this, he just was one of these. He just didn't know what he was doing. But yeah, back to the first half, the Everton players. Overall, though, we did really well. Ashley Young again, nice and solid. Now, bear in mind, he had to deal with Sancho. Sancho is a quick player. He's a skillful player, and he's a serious goal threat. So him being able to sort of keep Sancho somewhat quiet in the first half, he did really well to do that. So kudos to him. Doing that, he had a commitment to that. And then when we were in possession, he was moving up into the midfield as Jack Harrison was moving up alongside it and trying to be the overlapping option. So good on him for doing that. Amazing for a guy almost in his 40s, being able to keep pace with a young, almost superstar class sort of player in the likes of Sancho and all them. Likewise with Jackson, Palmer, they were kept really quiet. There was a moment in the first half, Jackson actually hit the ball, came off the post and Pickford was very quick to sort of smother it in a way to make it so that there was no goal threat. And on top of that, outside of that though, there wasn't too much else. There was a shot again by Jackson. Pickford was able to get a neat, sort of came down, got a neat to it and brought it out. And what was his name? Dude with the braids for Chelsea had headed it way over. Gusto, that's it. So Gusto was able to get ahead to it, but sent it way over to the bar. But overall, though, first off, really quiet. Wasn't really too much of a threat. The main thing to talk about was the weather in that one and just the poor decision making. But yeah, coming into the second half, though, a very different sort of story. So Everton had come out in a way swinging. We came out seeing that there was a few little holes here and there in the Chelsea team, and we wanted to try and exploit them. So rather than us sort of sitting back and letting just absorbing what they were having a go with us, we were pushing out, we were pushing them and starting to do a bit of a high press, making it so that Chelsea couldn't really break out of their half too much. But overall, we were just pushing and pushing and pushing and trying to find an answer. We broke down their play a little bit. We were able to get behind the defensive line and a couple of shots. Ndai was absolutely smoking hot today. He was doing so well across that entire top half of the field. And again, he was doing what a number 8 should be doing. Likewise with Mangala, he had a lot of coverage today. He was unfortunate not to score. He had a couple of shots. One shot, if the wind would have hit it another way, I think it might have actually gone around the keeper. But in the second half, a couple of moments there, we managed to get one. Ndai passed it over to Harris. Well, actually, I think Ndai actually hits to the keeper. It bounced out. Harrison had to go with it. And normally when Harrison has the ball, what you're expecting is a ball that gets fizzed and it goes high. In this situation, though, it's the complete opposite. When he should have really fizzed it and it should have went a bit high and sort of into the corner of the net, he hit it with a controlled low shot right into their keeper, just stopping the attack altogether and stopping the goal opportunity. And it was a shame, really, because he had a decentish game. But yeah, you got to give it to Dijkstra. I mean, Decore, he didn't have too bad of a game, but he stuck to his guns with Decore. Again, after the Arsenal game, Decore had a reasonably solid game. So with him now swapping Decore out, he didn't even swap Decore actually, he did the full 90, good on him. But yeah, Decore had a reasonably solid game and all. He got a lot of movement out there. He really gave their midfield and a few of their defenders a tough time, just absolutely, being around them, being that presence and giving them just a reason to sort of think before they did anything, which was just enough for us to get a little bit of an exploit, dispossess them a couple of times and stop them doing anything in terms of build-up. We did a lot to disrupt them. It was a really good game for that. But yeah, so when we made our subs around a decent time as well. It was on the 60-70 minute mark. We made 3 subs in rapid succession. So it was Calvert-Lewin off, Beto on, Harrison off, Lindstrom on, and Ashley Young off and Seamus Coleman on. So we made 3 like-for-like subs. I was hoping to see him sort of try and experiment a bit and maybe bring Decore off and get Chimiti on. Because Chimiti was on the bench today, and I think he might have been a little bit more to just push it over, because in that situation, what could have happened is we could have sort of had a bit more, we could have said to Mangala, can you sort of take care of that middle and the left for Ndai to come in? And then from there, you'd have a situation where Ndai is basically operating as number 8 and number 10. You'd have Mangala operating out on the left midfield with Lindstrom on the right, Chimiti and Beto in the top end, with Beto being the feeder for Chimiti. That could have been the situation that we could have went for. Unfortunately, we didn't. But to be honest, though, from there, we just carried on as business as usual. We were threatening them. We were stopping down any breakdowns. I think Pickford only had to make 3 stops in that game. And there were 3 decent stops as well. But overall, though, I can't argue. I really can't argue. I was dreading this December just for the fact that we have 5 big hitters in the space of a month. We have Liverpool, which has been postponed. Arsenal, which ends up 0-0. Chelsea, which ends up 0-0. All we've got left now is Man City, which I'm going to on Boxing Day. And Spurs. So that one... at the moment, Spurs, the defence is collapsing in on itself. Now, granted, they've just lost 6-3 to Liverpool. I made up for that just for the fact that, not because the Liverpool's top of the table, I absolutely hate the fucking fact of that. I've got the Fantasy Premier League, I've got Salah and Diaz in my squad, I've got Salah captained, and he has had, I think he had 2 goals and 2 assists. Diaz had 2 goals, so I've just raked in a heap of points. I think I'm sitting on about 73 points at the moment. So that's probably close to one of the highest I've had all season. I think I broke 100 once this season. But yeah, so Tottenham at the moment, they are hemorrhaging goals. But the thing is, they are still a goal threat as well. So we need to take that into account. I think when it comes down to it, though, when it comes to Man City, we're going to have Brozier back. We've got Chimiti, Beto and Calvert-Lewin. So you've got 4 attacking options there. I think... with Dyche being Dyche, he's going to go for the defensive mindset. So my prediction for that one's going to be Pickford in goal, Mikalenko, Tarkowski, Branthwaite, Young in the back, with Mangala, Idrissa Gueye, Iliman Ndiaye and Jack Harrison across the midfield. With, have I missed anyone? Decore in number 10 and Calvert-Lewin up top. Now, if it was me, I would be saying, right, Man City are currently the wounded beast right now. They might look at us and think, okay, this is an opportunity. We go all out attack, push their defence to its absolute limits because we know that they can't score. We know that they're struggling to score goals at the moment. So if we can pepper them with attack, not worry too much about the defence, we might get something out of it. The only thing is, though, I think with us having the 4 attacking options, we could experiment with that. We could potentially look, and I always will say this, I'll say this until my throat is red raw. This is an opportunity for us to experiment with the 3-5-2 sort of option. So you have Pickford in goal as always. You have Branthwaite on the left, Tarkowski, and either Michael Keane or Jake O'Brien on the right of centre. And then your midfield consists of Mikalenko and either Ashley Young, Seamus Coleman, or Nathan Patterson. You can experiment with one of them 3. I mean, it's going to more likely be Ashley Young as the more sensible option because he's a much more experienced player, and as Dyche would say, with the Premier League experience. But yeah, and then from there, you've got your 3 in the middle, so that being Iliman Ndiaye, Jack Harrison, and I'm going to say Mangala with that one. I'm actually going to say Mangala with that one. And then the 2 up top. So let's see, if we've done 3 there. Mikalenko, one of them 3. Ndiaye. Yeah, there's the 5. And then the 2 up top being Brozier and either Calvert-Lewin or Beto. Because from there, you've got a pacey front in the likes of Brozier who will provide for Beto or Calvert-Lewin, whoever it is. And we know that they don't operate with the standard sort of, it stops the whole thing of the loft it forwards and see how we go sort of tactic, because it's still prevalent with the squad that we've got at the moment. We still do that whole thing of, punt it up, hope Calvert-Lewin gets something to it, and then we go from there. And 9 times out of 10 it fails. So with this one, you can bring it out from the back, you can bring it wide, you can bring it narrow. You've still got a decent cluster as well, because what happens there, Iliman Ndiaye becomes the ad hoc number 10 in that sort of situation. So what will happen then? You got the 3, you got the 5, that then becomes the 4, because then it becomes a 3-4-1-2. So Ndiaye goes up and becomes the provider for that one. So you bring it out from the defence into the midfield through Mangala, who goes through to Ndiaye, and then he's got 2 options there. He's either got Brozier, who can then feed it onto Calvert-Lewin, or if Calvert-Lewin looks like he's about to beat his man, he can then loft it over Calvert-Lewin, break that defensive line, and go for goal. You've got that in the sort of situation, and then when they come to us and press us on an attack, our 3 becomes a 5, or even a 6 when you've got Mangala, and then it becomes a double-layered defence again. So you've got an opportunity there to work with that. But Dyche being Dyche, it's obviously going to be a 4-5-1 or a 4-2-3-1. There's one of many ways that he's going to go about it. I mean, he's going to tell you all day long. He knows what's best. He's the man with over 500 Premier League games under his belt. I mean, even though he's only got like a 40% win rate, but actually, no, it's not even that. It's like a 30-odd% win rate. I mean, he gathers about a point a game if you look at the stats and everything. But you know what? I'm just a fan. But yeah, guys, I'd like to know your opinions as well. What do you think of the game today? I thought it was a great game, regardless of the referee being an absolute arsehole. We are showing a lot of promise. We're starting to come into our stride. Now, the thing is, though, that becomes a very big issue. Do we sack Dyche, say to Dyche, look, you've done a great job, you've kept us stable, but we want something younger with a bit more excitement. Well, not even excitement. A bit more of an understanding of the modern game, because unfortunately, out of the 5 games so far, you've got us, let's see, 6 points. That's 6 out of a possible 15. So it's less than half the points. So we do need to try and have a little look at what we can be improving on. Don't get me wrong, clean sheets are nice, but 0-0 draws, it's 1 point. At this rate right now, how we're going, we're going to have 38 points by the end of the season. Is that going to guarantee us survival? Most likely. Is that going to get us up the table? Not really. That's going to get us around 15th or 16th this season. So we need to seriously try and, look at a more younger manager. There's a couple of videos going around to the former Porto boss. He's a very exciting sort of manager. You've got the likes of Graham Potter being sort of lashed around here and there. Southgate, I don't want him. I've heard Lee Carsley, I'm not sure. He's more of an international manager, I believe. So he does better in them sorts of situations. I mean, talking about at a club level, he could do a little bit better, but I don't know. I honestly don't know. I, myself, am a bit on the fence with that one. I think maybe, I don't know. I've heard David Moyes coming back. I would like that. But that's me potentially having the rose-tinted glasses on. So I don't know about that one. There's so many ways we can go about it. I mean, to be honest, there's even rumours that we might even rate Brentford for Thomas Frank. He seems to be making the rounds a lot lately. And I mean, I like Thomas Frank. He's a very attack-minded sort of player. And the fact that we've got a very shored-up defence right now, he can focus on attack. So if he can get the attack sorted out and just work a little bit on the defence, we've got ourselves a potentially solid team there. We've got basically a nice stonewall defence with the likes of Tarkowski, Branthwaite, Mikalenko, Ashley Young, Nathan Patterson, Seamus Coleman, Jake O'Brien, Michael Keane. I mean, Michael Keane's going to be going at the end of the season, but we won't talk about that. Yeah, we've got so much to work with right now, so we need to... Well, you know what? We need to look up. It's great to see that result. It's not ruined my Christmas. It's not ruined my weekend either. I'm happy. I am very happy with this result. But in any case, guys, I'd like to thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate your continued support. If you like this, you know what to do. Put it down there below. If you want to suggest anything to me, again, put it in the comment section below. If you want to share this and have different people offer different opinions, please share it around. Give it to your friends, family, anyone you know who's an Evertonian or even a Chelsea fan. But in any case, guys, I'd like to thank you all so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a great Christmas. Up the freaking toffees. Take care and peace.